Good morning and welcome back to school and another great year. I'm Amanda Ellis, the Associate Commissioner of the Office of Teaching and Learning, and we're glad that you tuned in with us with our next webcast. I have here with me Dr. Damian Sweeney. Dr. Sweeney, thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
And we are so happy to have Dr. Sweeney join our team. He replaced Robin McCoy, and so we are anxious to introduce you to him and know that the work that was started last year is continuing. And so before we get started, I just want to remind you to look down at the bottom of your screen. And for those of you who have not tuned in before, or if you've just forgotten because it's been a while, we do collect questions throughout the webcast that you may have about the topic at hand at the gosoapbox.com. And when you pull up that website, our password is OTL. And so as soon as you log into that, then that gives you the access to send a question directly to us. Just a reminder, if you are new to these webcasts, we will continue them throughout the year. We only take about 25 minutes of your time and we focus on one topic that may be of value to you and your team as you go forward into this year. You may also notice that we're starting off where we ended last year. Last May or June, actually, we had a session over pretty general guidelines over the ILP, and Robin McCoy shared some things to think about as you prepare for the change, since we did sunset career cruising and really want to enhance the process and the student service that we want to provide through the ILP. And so now we have passed that torch on to Dr. Sweeney, Damian, as we call him here at KDE, and he's going to give you more specifics on considerations around the ILP, the development, the process you may be developing in your district, and things that you can do to best serve our students. So at this time, I'll turn it over to him and be back at the end with any questions. So Dr. Sweeney, it's all you.
All right. Good morning, guys. So as you can see on our screen here, the Kentucky ILP for this year is under construction by schools and districts, and we are excited about that. We're excited that you have the autonomy to create something that's innovative and engaging and also specific to your students. My hope today is that you leave knowing that you can work with your school planning team and district to create an individual learning plan that will serve the students at your school. We're gonna send out this presentation. We'll send it out in a PDF, and all of the links that you see here are live, but this is where I got the information for the presentation, along with talking to many colleagues here at KDE. All right, so why you? Specifically for counselors who have I was a counselor for the last 8 years, and I just have a passion for you guys, and I know that you guys are major change agents at your school. This is an opportunity for you to be the counselor you always wanted, right? So you get a chance to advise students, talk to students about about things that are really unique to them and will help them in their personal development and career development. So think about this. You know, we've had career cruising for many, many years, but what we're asking you to do is think about your practice, think about change, possible change, adaptation. We really, really want you to innovate. One of my themes this year with you guys as counselors is counselor as innovator. We want you to improve the process and evolve. There are many, many potential outcomes for your students. And this is not a comprehensive list, but this is a list that, you know, I kind of came up with as I created an exemplar that I'll tell you about in a little bit. So some potential outcomes: higher academic achievement, stronger graduation rates, less retention, higher rates of attendance, less behavior incidences, an understanding of students' why. We want them to really explore themselves and self-discover. More direction towards a career. We want them to build an ongoing resume. An understanding of vocational schools, which is really unique and different. More understanding of why achievement is possible. Healthier choices. We want them to make healthier choices. We want you guys to have a stronger school culture. We know that if your culture is strong, your achievement will soon follow. We want students to have a stronger understanding of others, maybe other students that are LGBT or a different race or come from a different culture than them. We want students to understand what it takes to get into different colleges and universities. We also want them to understand what it takes to be hired for different jobs and careers. We want them to self-discover, as I mentioned earlier, and then flag the minefield. If you're in my University of Cumberland's class, you know that flag the minefield is a counseling technique that suggests that if they see a potential problem coming, or a potential struggle coming academically, then they are being proactive and looking for ways to intervene in order to prevent those struggles. Okay, so in ILP, we're going to focus on this in grades 6 through 12. Notice that this is to engage in coursework and activities, so it doesn't just have to be in a classroom. This is going to be in hopes of helping the scholar realize their college and career success and then become contributing members of their communities. So a community service piece will be added. We realize that this is the first year and we are offering quite a bit of autonomy to our schools and districts. And with that autonomy, we realize that everything isn't going to go perfect the first time around. So try, fail forward, and then try again. And once you do that, and once you're positive about this and work with your planning team and your stakeholders, then you're going to eventually find some success. And hopefully you find that this process is very fun. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is for our 6th to 12th graders. We want our high schools and middle schools to be talking to one another. And then we really would like to see our high schools and colleges talking to one another to create plans for our students. In JCPS, along with many other districts throughout our state, we are seeing a lot of digital backpacks. JCPS has a great initiative going on that I am sure is going to do wonders for our students in this day and age, in this digital day and age. But what we know with students is that they love technology, and the ILP offers them a way to have technology right then and there, and for them to carry things with them over the years. So if a student is in the 6th grade starting on their ILP and they begin building their resume, then they can carry that through 8th grade. They can start once again from 9th grade and carry everything with them from 12th grade. So they don't have to jot anything down and try and keep track of things on paper anymore about their experiences or their community service or their work experiences. They can have all of that information digitally and carry it with them. With the ILP, we know that scholars will create some career goals along with college goals and academic goals as well. We want you to align their schedules with those goals. So plan a schedule based on the ILP that those scholars create. Also include career development and awareness, and specifically address vocational studies. Okay, so this is something new and unique, and something that I'm really excited about. We know that our students aren't all going to college. We know that they're not all specifically going to the military, so we also want them to understand the unique opportunity they have with vocational studies, and we want them to be introduced to that and see the power of those opportunities. We also want them to focus on career exploration related to post-secondary education and training needs. So if they understand that they want to go to a specific career, what is it going to take to get into that career, and what are the needs in terms of training that they'll have. Something that we're also excited about, how many of you guys have heard from community members and from students or alumni that they just wish that they understood financial planning for college, what it would actually take to pay for college before it was too late. So the ILP actually includes this piece of information, and there's some financial literacy. There's a financial literacy regulation in there that we would like you to cover with your students, so they do feel prepared to go to college and that they feel prepared financially. We also want the ILP to be readily available to the student and parent. We want it to be reviewed and approved at least annually by the students, parents, and school officials. So you guys are meeting as a team and thinking about the goals of that student and how they can achieve them. Some really important things that I want you guys to note. Early graduation students must complete an ILP that outlines this path. There must be evidence of early graduation throughout the ILP. Also, with extended school services, make sure that parents understand and are notified about the opportunity for their student to participate in extended school services. They also understand the interventions that are going to be offered during ESS that will eventually help their child succeed and achieve the goals that they need to in terms of academic success. You can expect from KDE a framework that's going to guide districts and schools in building comprehensive advising programs in the near future. We've got a work team that's focused on this. What it's looking like right now is a rubric for districts to use that would allow schools to self-score the ILP process. This rubric would potentially serve as the framework that would guide your work. And again, we'll have more information to come soon on that. Make sure that you don't forget that with this great work that you'll be doing, this innovative and engaging work that you'll be doing, we want you to be able to evaluate the effectiveness and results of the ILP process, which includes indicators related to the status of the student in the 12th grade and following the date of graduation. So we want you to use input from students, parents, and school staff. So this can also include the transition readiness survey. You can also use Google Forms to help you with this if needed. Okay, there's no documentation. This is just a reminder. There's no documentation for the ILP needed by KDE this year. However, you must have documentation at the school or district level in 18-19. So this year, the law is still in effect this year, and you must maintain documentation at the local level. Documentation for KDE will be required next year. I want to make sure that you understand the ILPA. This is only for A5 or A6 schools or alternative programs. The alternative ILPA's data standards detail the requirements and instructions for completing the ILPA document in Infinite Campus, and you'll be able to click on that link to get more information there on this. My contact information, feel free to email me at damien.sweeney@education.ky.gov. I look forward to helping you in the future.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Sweeney, very much for lots of great information. I know many of you have questions and thinking about the development of your ILP process, and as well as the discussion around the high school graduation requirements really pushes us to think about what's needed by students and really what's driving the needs of students, and we're really pushing on career focus, whatever that may be. And so now is the time to really build out the system that you've always envisioned. I know Damien and his colleagues have really pushed on having the autonomy at the district to develop what is needed for their students, not what is forced. So we definitely heard the voices and have acted upon that, but that does lie greater responsibility on the districts and schools to develop a system that's really going to work best for students. And many of you may have very different dynamics with the capacity of the adults you have, and so I know that when he is traveling to different co-ops, there's a lot of discussion around the use of adults in the building, not just the single counselor, but really the adults that work with these students every single day and how to equip them with working with students in that capacity. So it doesn't look like, oh, we have one question. Kevin, are you able to read that from here? Because I cannot see that. I didn't bring it over.
When will the framework be available?
When will the framework be available?
Our ILP work team is meeting September 4th, and we hope to get something out soon.
Okay.
We're thinking the next couple of months.
Okay, so we will definitely announce that. It's a great question, and we'll follow up with that with an anticipated timeline, so you would have access to that. It's a good question. Good. If you have any additional questions, I'm sorry I didn't have my glasses on to see that, and so we'll be happy to address it. So we're going to end this webcast with 5 things to know before you go. Just a reminder, since many of you wear different hats, there is a special webcast scheduled for tomorrow morning for those who have the Math Achievement Fund grants or the Read to Achieve grants. So for the reading and the mathematics, that's the K-3 interventions for mathematics or reading. That orientation will take place online. We're doing that to save money this year and save your time from having to travel, but there's lots of important information. We are trying to streamline some of this work, and so it would be important for you to tune in if you have those grants. That's on Wednesday tomorrow, of course, from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That would be Read to Achieve, and then the MAF information will be 10 to 10:30, and the RTA will be 10:30 to 11. Also, the State of Education in the Commonwealth is today at 5 o'clock. Dr. Lewis will be delivering that. It will be on Facebook Live, and it is actually taking place at the Jessamine County Career and Technical Center in Nicholasville. Dr. Lewis will discuss how Kentucky schools are performing and what post-graduation outcomes look like for students. He'll be talking about the goals of our agency. I think you'll find it to be very informative and gives you an idea of where it is we are moving. And the link to that webcast is on this PowerPoint that we'll be sending out today. There is a special called KBE board meeting on September 5th. So this will begin at 8:30 Eastern Time in our state boardroom here in Frankfort. Among the items the board will consider are performance standards for the school accountability for the 17-18 school year. That would be the results from when we took the assessments last year. So this is the beginning stages of implementation of our new assessment accountability system and fulfilling the requirements around ESSA. Those do have to be approved by our board. The meeting, of course, will be webcast live beginning at 8:30 Eastern Time. That is through our media portal, and so that will be online on the KDE website. You also noticed probably yesterday, if you were reading the commissioner's email that went out, the 2018-19 and actually even the 19-20 end of course guidance that people are looking for related to early graduation is that we will still continue to provide the EOCs for all 4 content areas. So students who are enrolled in the early graduation program, who were enrolled last year into this year and to next year before new graduation requirements and new assessment, will still have the same assessments identified in the regulation that allows them to see if they fulfill the requirements to graduate early. That information around shipping and ordering will come later from the Office of Assessment and Accountability, and you will get that information soon. And then the last thing we want to bring to your attention is the schedule for our webcast for the 18-19 school year will be attached in the email that's coming forth. You will notice that we are really expanding to all offices as this webcast will become an agency-wide webcast instead of just from the Office of Teaching and Learning. I will still host and help organize the topics. So please add these dates to your calendar. Encourage others to join in. I know many of you gather in an office to listen in or watch later, and we appreciate that. We really are just trying to get the most important information that you need to know right now in your hands and with the people who are associated with that work. So that will be sent along with the email. If you do not receive this and are interested in receiving the information that was shared today by Dr. Sweeney and the information on the 5 things to know before you go, please send me an email. It would be fine. It's amanda.ellis@education.ky.gov, and we'll be happy to get that information to you as soon as possible. We hope you have a fantastic day and a remainder of your week, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Have a good day.